Good morning, students. In the previous video, we have discussed the summary of the quality that Mr. Jessler is a shoemaker, but he does his work devotedly. Now, I knew him from the days of my extreme youth, because he made my father's food. Now the writer says that he knew that bookseller from his childhood days because he made his father's foods. He lived with his elder brother in his shop, and he lived with his elder brother in the shop, which was in a small by street in a fashionable part of London. And his shop was in a fashionable part of London, very good place. The shop had a certain quiet distinction. There was no sign upon it other than the name of Jessler Brothers, and where only his name, Mr. Jessler, was written. No other sign was there. He made only what was ordered, and what he made never failed to fit. Whatever people ordered him, he made only those shoes, and they are very much fitted to that person. To make boots, such boots as he made, seemed to me then, and still seems to me, mysterious and wonderful. And whatever he made, his shoes were very mysterious. That is very difficult to explain how they are wonderful. I remember well me shy remark one day while stretching out to him my youthful foot, "Isn't it awfully hard to do? Awfully, strangely hard to do. Awfully, very much hard to do, Mr. Jessler." And now he said that he could not forget that thing. "Isn't it awfully hard to do, Mr. Jessler?" He said that it is very hard, and his answer given with a sudden smile from out of the redness of his beard. And now he answered, "It is an art." Now students, see this. It is an in German SNDTHD. It is an art. It was not possible to go to him very often. His boots lasted terribly. Now the writer said that very often he didn't go to his shop because his boots are very durable, and having something beyond the temporary, some essence of boot stitched into them. One went in not as into most shops, but restfully as one enters a church, and sitting on the single wooden chair waited. A guttural sound, guttural, harsh and grating sound, and the tip-tap of his slippers beating the narrow wooden stairs, and he would stand before one without coat, a little man in leather apron, with sleeve turned back, blinking as if awoken from some dreams of boots. Now, when one is entered into his shop, it seems as if anyone is entering into a church. And he sat on a single wooden chair, waited. And now a guttural sound, a guttural sound came there, that and tip-tap sound of the slippers that was on the wooden stairs. He would stand before one without coat, and as anyone comes, he would stand up and ask, "What do you want?" as if awoken from some dream of boots. Now, and I would say, "How do you do, Mr. Jessler? could you make me a pair of Russian leather boots? And now I miss, the narrator said, how are you? Could you prepare me a pair of Russian leather? Without a word, he would leave me retiring. He would leave me in the retiring room whence he came, or into the other portion of the shop, and I would continue to rest in the wooden chair, inhaling the incense of his trade. And he went to the inner section, and after that, when he came there, at that time he waited for him. Soon he would come back, holding in his hand a piece of gold brown leather. And he returned with a gold brown leather with eyes fixed on it. He would remark, what a beautiful piece. Students, see what a beautiful piece. P is bees. Then when I too had admired it, he would speak again, when do you want them? And he asked, when do you want to? When do you want them? I would answer, oh, as soon as you conveniently, as soon as. When do you want them? I would answer, oh, as soon as you conveniently can. When you can give conveniently. And he would say, tomorrow fortnight. From tomorrow fortnight, a period of 14 or 15 days. Or if he were his elder brother, I will ask my brother. Brother. This is a German word. Then I would murmur, thank you, good morning, Mr. Jessler, good morning. He would reply means answer, still looking at the leather in his hand, and as I moved to the door, I would hear the tip-tap of his slippers going up the stair to his dream of boots. And when he left the shop, he can also hear the tip-tap of the slippers going up the stairs to his dreams of boots. Now, I cannot forget that day on which I had occasion to say to him, Mr. Jessler, that last pair of boots creaked. Last pair of creak means make a sound, which you have given, that was making a noise. He looked at me for a time without replying, as if expecting me to withdraw or qualify the statement, then said, I had creaked. Here you can see the meaning. I wouldn't have grieved. Grieved means it shouldn't have grieved. Because he believed on his quality that it should not happen. It did, I am afraid. But the writer said that it did. You got them before they found themselves. You got them wet. It may be that you have done them wet. After that they are making the sound. I don't think so. Now the writer replied, it doesn't happen. At that he lowered his eyes as if hunting for memory of those words, and I felt sorry. I had mentioned that grave serious thing. Send them back. Them. He said, I will look at them. If there is any complaint, then you can send them. I will see what is the trouble in it. Some boots. He continues, are bad from birth. If I can do nothing with them, I take them of your will. I will return the money. He was so much devoted. He had a firm faith in the quality of the boot. So students, I think you are able to understand this.